Hi, it's Dr. Ben with a couple of quick tips for you guys again today, and those of you that are working together with us on the team. And how many of you have had someone that was a caliber of person that had some qualities that you knew would be enjoyable to work with or have potential for leading to some significant business partnership, but then run into some skepticism along the way? Okay, we had a warm market referral yesterday. A coworker of someone on the team. She had very high compliments for him, and he was very open when we called him initially. Very eager to really expand his life and basically make money, and was very open to looking at the webinar. Saw the webinar, and afterward, when he touched base with him and asked him that initial question, "What captured you the most? Is it the products or really partnering together to make more money and have more free time?" His immediate response was, "I'm skeptical." Okay, very different response than the initial introductory conversation the day before, but it also was a little more, now we're really digging a little deeper to what's really going on in his heart and his mind, and he's just seen so many different things that his initial reaction was skepticism. So many things that haven't necessarily panned out, or products that had claims that weren't real, and so he wants to know this is real. And so what I want to do is just pause a moment, ask yourself, how would you respond to that initial comment? I'm skeptical. Okay, you've got someone that you know something about, got great energy, great goals, great compliments from someone that knows him well and has worked with him, but initial response is, I'm skeptical. How would you respond? Just pause a moment and consider that. Okay, now remember yesterday we had that comment about the croc brain and really getting through the croc brain, and one of the things we want to do even before the information and what we convey or anything to anybody is we want to create a different experience for them, okay? In other words, their experience of interacting with us, that it will leave an impression that this is different than other things they've experienced. So one of the first things can be to ask a question. So let's pause again. If you were to ask this gentleman a question right at that point, what might be a question or two that you could ask him? All right, and there's not necessarily a right or wrong, okay? But here's what we did. I immediately told him, or said to him, that I have two questions for you, okay? And here were my two questions. My two questions, after he described a little bit more of where skepticism was coming from, one of the things I asked him was, first, okay, what would help you to know that a product is real? Okay, something along those lines. What would help you to know that something was real? And he immediately said, wow, that's a great question, and gave a couple of comments after that. And then my second question was, okay, and if this checked out, if you were able to really feel these are real products really making a difference in people's lives, would you be interested in partnering and really exploring building this together then? Okay, or you might ask, what would that mean for you then? Okay, and it's kind of a qualifying question to really see, if we are able to address this, where is it going to go from there? So you kind of get a sense now, where are we going and what are we talking about? If they're like, well, actually, I wouldn't be interested anyway, then you may not want to invest a lot more time right then. On the other hand, this guy was sincerely open and considering, but this was a first step that he felt needed to be addressed. And asking those two questions helped us connect at a different level, create a different experience, and also get a little more clarity on where he's coming from and where we could go from there. So those were two questions. I want to give you two more questions that came up in the conversation, and also another strategy that was used in that conversation, which was to tell a story. Okay, one of the best things you can do to illustrate how this business works, how this business has worked for you or for someone else, or how the products are real, is rather than just saying the products are real, is tell a story of the difference these products made in someone's life. Perhaps someone also that had the skepticism that he had, or had tried other things that didn't work before like he did, and share a story, because a story gets to the subconscious mind more easily and stays with the person more than just facts and information you convey. Okay, so that's a strategic tip and a skill to develop. And then two more questions that really open up the conversation further. Okay, one was making a transition to just saying, I'm just curious, and this was toward the end of the conversation, just on a personal basis. When you think about the next 10, 20, 30 years, what most concerns you about aging, the outside or the inside? And he kind of shared with us the inside. And then he shared a little bit more about his personal story and some things that had been going on with him, and how for him, how he feels is really important. Even though he's young, he's just in his early 30s, okay? And so it opened up the discussion, actually, and he initiated this, about stress and about the amount of stress people have in their lives and how burnt out people are, okay? And really opened up to a possibility of exploring cortisol and also vitality. So it led to a more personal discussion, and where he really opened up more with that question. And then a second question at the end of the call was, okay, if we decide to work together, tell me this. What would you say about yourself that would make you a great person to work with? Okay, what would you say about yourself that would make you a great person to work with? And he paused. First he felt a little maybe awkward or embarrassed, and then he shared some really neat insights. And one of the things he shared, which is something that I had a sense of him even from the call, was that even though he's skeptical, when he really finds something that he loves and is passionate about, he's like a lion. Okay, and nothing can stop him. And I already had that sense about him, and that's why we took the conversation as far as we did. But by asking that question, it actually opened him up to sharing a little more about himself. It was also put him in a position of qualifying himself and shifting the dynamics a bit on the call, and further creating a special or a different experience for him in his interaction with us. So just a couple quick tips for you guys of how to apply questions and create a different experience in your interactions with people. And then lastly, on a different note, if you haven't gotten this book yet, Miracle Morning, it was the book of the month by Hal Enrod from last month on One Team Global. I highly encourage you to get that with your team, because if we're all engaged in processes like what he described in that book, and he really quotes Jim Rohn at the beginning, that success is what we attract or our level of success by the person we become. Okay, so we want to be really investing daily in expanding who we are and what we're capable of, and that will translate into what we bring forward in our business. So enjoy, look forward to creating new levels of success with you all in 2015, and have a great day. Bye-bye.